right. Hi, everyone. So we had just started a first part of this Q&A, but it was not live on Facebook. And now we are, because it wouldn't let me edit things while we were in the broadcast. So we quit out of that one. We fixed our technical difficulties. We're back. So I will have Jasmine and Desiree introduce themselves just to kick off this iteration of it. And then we're going to just start from where the conversation left off. So Jasmine, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jasmine. I am a one-time surrogate so far. I just ended my first journey in May of 23. I gave birth to a baby boy. I do plan on doing surrogacy come the new year. I'm just giving my body that break. Just because the matching process and everything too there, it does take time. So I'll be well over past a year postpartum before I do transfer again. But my experience with Family Source has been awesome. And I've had a few different agents because with the matching process and everything, you get a couple different ones, but they've all been great. So my experience has been very wonderful.
Great. Desiree, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Desiree. I'm also a first-time surrogate. I just completed my journey July 21st, this 2023. I also had a baby boy, and I love Family Source Consultants. I probably post so much about them that I was obsessed, but no, it's a great company. I do highly suggest if you want to be a surrogate, it is a company to come and apply to. Jasmine said she's waiting. Honestly, my 6 weeks come September 5th. I'm bringing that paper in, and I'm ready to go.
The only reason I'm waiting is because after this birth, I had a prolapsed cervix. So I'm giving my body some time to heal from that and for it to resolve itself before I go and I'm pregnant again. Be ready.
Yeah, your body needs a minute.
Yeah.
Even if your emotions are ready. So, so for folks watching live on any of the platforms right now, if you do put any questions or comments in the chat, we're able to see those. We can respond to those and answer your questions. And I will introduce myself as well. So I'm Hannah. I work as our educational marketing associate, but I also was a surrogate. So I delivered, I'm a one-time surrogate, delivered last year, and also delivered a baby boy. So here we all are. So we were talking, I specifically wanted to talk with Jasmine and Desiree today because they both had babies like very recently, and specifically within like hours of being on one of these Q&As.
Yeah.
So I think that is just so fun. So we were talking a little bit about delivery. And again, the first part of this conversation will be posted later on Facebook. So you can go back and watch kind of the first 10 minutes of the conversation. But where we left off, the commonality here too is that both Jasmine and Desiree delivered too fast for their intended parents to make it. Yes. So we were talking about what that looks like. So Jasmine, can you jump back in then about what that experience is like of delivering without the intended parents, and what happens after the birth in that situation for you?
Right. So my intended parents, they have an older daughter. She had to finish her finals at school, which of course I don't want her to miss that. So I knew that there was a chance that they would miss it, given they had a 9-hour drive before he came, in hopes that they made it, because they planned on leaving the following morning that I had given birth. So if he would have waited just a little bit longer, they would have made it. But they were able to watch through FaceTime and get to see baby boy come out and everything. But I was prepared. I had time to prepare myself that might have been how it turned out that they didn't make it. But as soon as my water broke, I called mom. It's 3:00 in the morning. Or no, I had called her before, but they stayed on FaceTime the whole time. So they were on FaceTime for like 6 hours, because even after I gave birth, they stayed on and like just made sure everything was okay. And, but I'm like, hey, my water just broke. I'm getting my bag, because I kind of only had my bag half packed. But because I had no signs besides thinking maybe my water would break. But I'm like, hey, I'm about to head to the hospital, so if you guys want to jump in the car. She's like, okay, our bags are packed, we're going. So they just had that 9-hour drive. So, and I had him very fast.
And that can't be helped. And you were like, what, 39 weeks pregnant? Were you even 39 at that point?
Yes, I was 39 weeks, 5 days, which is the same gestation I was with my daughter when I had her. 39 weeks, 5 days with both. They're both born on the 19th, and they both weighed the same.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Interesting. Nice. So, okay. So then Desiree, you also delivered then without the intended parents there. What was that experience like for you?
So Monday, I had my, you have your 39-week checkup, and I was 1 centimeter dilated. So me and the parents honestly thought that we got one more week. So they got to Chicago on Thursday night, and they were going to have like one last date, mommy and dad time, on Friday. So they were coming to Indiana Saturday, because I'm like, it's good, go ahead, like, he's safe, there's no signs of labor. So, my boyfriend was saying, like, I knew you were going in labor soon because the way you were walking and wobbling. And
Everything was supposed to hurt more.
yeah, so me and the mom are like, well, you could have told us. We would have loved to know.
Yeah.
So she was like, good job, Kamari. Like, you could have told me. Like, we would have been there as soon as we flew in from Chicago.
Right.
And I didn't have nobody at the hospital with me. My cousin was supposed to come. And watch the kids. And how long and how fast I delivered, I did not have time for him to be up there. I had just the nurses and me, and they didn't get there until 11. So I gave birth at 6:28 a.m. They didn't get there until 11, like 40-ish in the morning. So I had to hold him and feed him, change him. And once he started crying, I was like, okay, I definitely know I do not want no more children.
This is supposed to be the easy part.
Yeah, I was like, I am so ready for your mom and dad.
Yeah. So then that's good that it doesn't like change any emotions or any feelings about anything. I think that's kind of a misconception, is that after delivery surrogates get kind of in their feelings. But I know I didn't personally have that experience, but my intended parents
just know you're in that correct headspace going into it from the beginning,
Yeah.
Because no one really knows how long the journey is going to be. After birth, my journey total was 18 months. So you're in that headspace the whole time, And after I had the baby, I latched him multiple times. I mean, I care for him. I grew him, but like it's different,
Yeah.
It's a different bond that I prepared myself for,
Yeah. So then when the parents did get there, what was that moment like for both of you?
Mine came in with flowers and orange juice, and I'm like, oh my God. I was so excited to finally see them because they weren't able to make it to any appointments or anything. So just for my medical clearance trip and transfer trip, I got to see them. So it had been a while,
Yeah, I'm sure. When were they so excited?
Yeah.
I feel like that's just one of the best parts of the whole
thing.
It is.
I was so excited to see them, see him.
Yeah. Desiree, were they so pumped then when they finally got there?
So for me, they're the sweetest. So they came in and they're like, hi, Desiree. And I'm like, hi, mom and dad. And they're like, how are you doing? Trying to talk to me. I was like, if you don't grab your baby.
Yes. I'm like, he's right here. Go pick him up. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah, of course. Oh, man.
That's how it was for me too.
And then, Jasmine, it sounds like you've had like a few health complications since delivery.
Yeah.
But are you like, how was recovery in general? Like, was it much different then from your own baby?
So this only being my second birth, I kind of expected everything to go the same as it did with my daughter, and it was night and day. I was sick the whole time with her. I was not sick with Sarah Babe at all. I never wanted to eat with her. I was always eating and drinking something with him, which I loved. I love food. I love eating. So I actually had a good appetite to be able to eat whatever I wanted, and everything was so smooth with that pregnancy. It's like I wasn't even pregnant. I'm not joking. And one of the things with pregnancy is I like getting big or pregnant. Like, I don't know, I just like the belly. So it was so perfect. And the only complication throughout the whole thing was after birth, my OB told me that I had a prolapsed cervix. So really, and especially with producing prolactin, which is breastfeeding and everything relaxes. So after birth, he let me know that I had a prolapsed cervix, and like your cervix is like right there. You can see it. And it's not painful or anything, but it's just not doing what it needs to be doing. So I have to go to physical therapy and do stretches and breathing exercises and stuff to help work those muscles back to where they need to be. And since I am done producing milk, that'll help more. So not as relaxed, and my cervix will resolve.
We'll figure out where it's going.
Yeah.
Let's see that there's like a resolution there.
And then I didn't even know it was a thing until it happened. I'm like, what is that? I'm scared now. And he's like, no, it's fine. Like, he was so mellow about it, my doctor. And he's like, it's okay. It happens. You know, I'm like, oh, okay.
Now, is your physical therapy, is that something that your intended parents cover? Do they cover any of it? Do you ask for something like that? Just out of curiosity?
So, insurance or not, my intended parents are the sweetest, making sure I'm okay and everything. Anything I need, it's covered. You know, they got it. They'll handle it. My insurance, with our contract, it states if anything pops up like that, insurance will cover another 2 months. So we pushed insurance out another 2 months. So most of it is covered. They have a copay, which is $30 each visit. So that's it out of pocket. I mean, I guess they do pay out of pocket for insurance, but the insurance is covering as well.
Yeah, and I think that's an important note. So yes, it's wonderful to have really sweet, caring, intended parents that want to make sure you're doing okay. Yes. And it is always part of legal. So this is even questions that you should be asking before you even get pregnant, is what happens afterwards if there's any complications.
And that's what we're here for, to help people with, because being first timers, you don't know about the small ins and outs yet until it happens. And then you're like, I should have said something, but you don't know to say something.
Yeah.
So it's good to talk to other surrogates. What do I not think about now that is going to be crucial along the way, you know?
Absolutely. Yep. And we did just get a question from someone who's watching. And again, if you're watching now and you have any questions or comments or thoughts or anything, feel free to put that in the chat, and we're happy to answer the questions. So this one's specifically about doing a second journey. So you both mentioned that you want to do a second journey with Family Source. What made you decide so quickly that you wanted to do second journeys? Is the first part of the question. So we'll start there. Like, how was it that you both, like, I mean, recovery is kind of tricky, right? And both of you are like literally recovering from childbirth, and you're like, sign me up for that again. Desiree, what made you want to jump back in to go back and do it again?
So for me personally, it was when the parents came in, you know, after they're checking on me, and I'm like, there's your son, you know, hold him. I have the best pictures, just how love they have for their son. You could just tell with their eyes, the way they were holding him, and that right there, that is the secured part. I think being a surrogate, you can talk about your pregnancy, but until you finish a journey and you
that experience itself,
and you see the that's the final picture. It just makes your heart just make so much sense. And I was like, I'm hooked. Like, I'm completely hooked. And I said, until God tells me I can't push no more babies out, my body is a vessel to be used right now. So I fell in love with the whole process. At first, like when I was giving birth, I was like, I'm not doing this again. I promise. I said, I'm not doing this no more. This is ridiculous. Because I was in so much pain. But then after like I said, when the parents came in, that was it. I fell in love. And he's a month old, so just even now, like, I still get pictures of him like every week.
Right.
And I'm not saying all surrogacy journeys are gonna be like that, where you will have updated pictures all the time. But even just seeing this little human that you created grow, you're just like,
it makes you feel so good. Like, I did that.
I'm in love. I know what it's like to be a mom, and if I can help everybody out, I will go ahead and do it. But I'm in love with the process of being a surrogate. I'm hooked.
Yeah, that's how I was, because initially going into it, I'm like, I love being pregnant. And even how miserable I was with my daughter, I still loved being pregnant somehow. Like, I never wanted to eat. I was always sick, but I still loved it, you know, feeling the kicks and everything. But I'm such a giver. And if I can help in that way, you know, why not? And just how smooth everything went for me with Family Source, and how grateful the parents showed me they were, you know, they expressed it a lot to me, how grateful they were for me. And that just made me feel so good. And I'm like, I'm able to do this, you know? So why not do it again?
Yeah. Are either of you considering doing a sibling journey? So a journey with the same family?
So my intended mother, she has lupus. So when she does the hormones, whether it's for the retrieval for me to do it for her or for herself, it gives her really bad flare-ups. So that's why they went down the surrogacy route. But she let me know that they're going to try to conceive naturally. Um, but if not, they are going to try and do a retrieval, and she wants to try and carry for herself. So when I do my next, unless she changes her mind when I'm ready to move forward, then I will have to rematch.
Yep. Desiree, have you even had that conversation yet, or?
We've kind of had the conversation. I know they want 3 kids, so that was new. And they want back to back. So when she said we want them back to back, she gave me the winky face, and I was like, "Oh, is that you just waiting to tell, like, for me to tell you that I'm good to go?" But if they're ready, and it's time, and my doctor says I'm good to go, and they want to, I'm gonna go ahead, because I mean, we're comfortable with each other, we know each other, might as well just go through it again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. And I brought it up after birth, and I just let her know I will be a surrogate again, you know, because we were pretty close. I just text her, and she was very quick to reply if anything. But and I loved the relationship that I built with them. They were so sweet and giving and just awesome people. But I was really sad. I'm so excited for them to be trying on their own, but sad at the same time that I will have to rematch because I did have such a great bond with them. And I really want to carry for them again, but I guess we'll see how the path ends up going.
Yeah, and about timing and everything, right? Yeah. So some intended parents want to jump right in, and some intended parents want a little more time. So
yeah, so maybe I'm like, okay, well, maybe by January, February, she's going to be like, hey, we decided against going the natural route. It's not working in our favor, and I really don't want the flare-ups. So do you want to be our surrogate? And I'm like, yes. Yeah. But I don't know. I'll be happy for them either way.
Absolutely. So we have somebody asking specifically about the amount of pregnancies that you're able to have. So we can, we'll message again after the broadcast, and you can message the Family Source Facebook page too, and then we can reply there, just if you message the general Facebook page. But the question is specifically about how many pregnancies how many deliveries are you allowed to have specifically? So I've always heard 6, but I do know that things with surrogacy, there are rules, and some of them are like more strict rules than others, and some of them it depends on the agency a little bit, and it depends on the clinic a little bit. So and it depends on the doctor, like the OBs and stuff a little bit. So so I would say that if you have specific questions like that, I think it's always worth asking, no matter what the qualification is that you don't think you meet. I know that Family Source is very good at figuring out how to make it work if it can work. So,
and there are many surrogate and intended parent pages on Facebook too that have experienced surrogates on there, and I have seen the number range. So I really might just depend on what the intended parents are okay with moving forward with, as well as what the clinic will approve. I think it's different with every practice.
Yeah. We have others in the chat that are saying they've heard up to 7. So I've heard 6, I've heard 7. So again, it's kind of a wishy-washy line there.
I saw 13 on one of the groups.
That might be a little bit pushing it. And again, that's to protect everybody, really, right? Surrogacy is in general like a game of what can be the lowest possible risk to the baby, to the parents. That's a lot of their.
And if your body's ready to be,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it's not just a regular pregnancy, especially with the IVF. So 13 sounds like
13 was up there.
We have an email address that's dropped in the chat, so feel free to email that. It's gcintake@familysourceconsultants.com. We can answer any questions that you have. Our intake coordinators, again, are fantastic about figuring out who is qualified and who might not be necessarily, but we'll see. So yes, once you get started on surrogacy, it is really hard to stop. So I definitely hear
I
that.
love it. It's really not just with the baby. I know you're carrying the baby and you create that bond internally, but it's a whole nother bond with the parents that you're growing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they treated me like family.
Yeah. And Jasmine, it sounds like you're still in communication then with your intended parents.
Yes. So if I text her, she's replying. And she has a busy day. She's a doctor. But throughout the whole pregnancy, every month they were shipping a frozen meat box to us every month. Steaks,
Oh,
chicken, salmon, like everything to help take care of us. And I'm just like, I love you guys. I think even the following month after I gave birth, she had sent another one. I'm like, you guys really don't have to do that. But with the milk supply and everything, I ended up drying up because they had him on formula, and I did have a really oversupply, like it was huge.
yeah.
But to balance them out, she was ready to just stop with the shipment. So I ended up drying up. But I have one more shipment to send her when they're ready because they had to get a deep freeze and everything. So they had enough room. So I do still have to do one more.
Desiree, did you pump for your intended parents?
So I do not pump. I think with her, I mean, I pump, but I don't pump for the baby.
Yeah.
With her, I think she wanted to be more attached to the baby. Because when he came out, being born, he looked just like his dad. So she was like, I need some type of attachment.
Sure.
So I just think she kind of wanted that part, but I still pump. And I just donate to other babies like around me or if somebody needs it.
Yeah. I helped a lot of babies around here too because with my supply, I had way too much. I had 3 freezers full, and I'm like, I'm running out of room. And she's like, well, donate what you can until we're ready for another shipment because I'd send around 800 to 1,000 ounces in each shipment, but I'd still be running out of room because every day, 100 ounces a day, you know, it's filling up the freezers fast. That's why I was like, well, if you're wanting to slow down how much I'm sending, then I'm going to dry up, you know, because even with drying up, you're still collecting all that milk. So it was a full month of me drying up before I wasn't in pain anymore.
Yeah, that part takes a bit. Yeah.
And I was prone to clogs, so I had clogs every day.
Oh no. And that's something like you get to decide as the surrogate and the intended parents really if pumping is going to be part of your journey or if it's not. And if it's not, that's something that you can talk about. I mean, it's either way, it's something that you discuss up front in even the legal stage, again, before you're even pregnant.
Yes. So with us, actually, my intended parents didn't know if they wanted milk, but we just threw it in the contract just in case.
Yep.
And they ended up wanting to do it for a couple months.
Yep. And that's perfectly fine. And yeah, you don't have to commit to a year. I pumped for about 6 weeks afterwards. And then I thought about donating because I was like, well, I've already made it this far and I didn't want to have to wean because that sounded really hard too. But then once I did wean and I didn't end up donating, that felt really good too, to just have my body back and to like,
honestly, you need that little bit, you know, pumping is a lot of work.
It is a lot. Yes.
It takes up a lot of time in your day. When I first started, I was doing every 2 hours to get my supply to come in. I felt every time I was blinking, time to, let's go again, let's pump. And so I push it out an hour.
Are you still pumping?
I am.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so I do it, like she said, at first I had to do it every 2 hours. So you're still waking up in the middle of the night. Even though you don't have a baby to take care of, you're still being woke up because you have to pump.
Yeah.
And my supply has picked up like more than it was in the beginning. So I'm not gonna lie, I have to like constantly have my pumps on my boobs throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
Because it's leaking.
Yes, I mean, it really is. You have to figure out because it's one thing if you have a baby at home and you're pumping or you're nursing or whatever, but when you don't have the baby and you're still making all those sacrifices.
It's more tiring in my opinion. Like with my daughter, I exclusively breastfed for 15 months. I felt like that was so much easier. My supply just regulated with what she would eat, you know.
Yep.
I was pumping and baby gets more out than the pump. So I never had clogs with her, mastitis, nothing. But with pumping, some of those clogs put me in tears. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
It can be painful.
Yeah. And I know we have somebody who's asking specifically about if breast milk isn't in your contract, can it get added, like drawn up later? And
I believe so.
My understanding is that it can. I think most commonly what happens is what Jasmine explained, because that was my experience too, where it's just kind of put in as like a, if we need this and if everybody decides to, and that's something that's put in at the beginning, kind of in like a standard practice, and then that way you can use it if you need to, and you can opt out if you don't want to at all. So that's pretty common to put that in there up front.
Like, and even if you do start, if it's usually stated in the contract that you do start and you decide you can't do it, you can stop whenever.
Yes.
So
yeah.
If it's too much on you and it's just not working, it's okay to stop.
Yep. But and then the second part of their question specifically is about charging. So do you charge per ounce or do you charge weekly?
So I saw it was pretty normal. Since this is my first time, I didn't understand how big the breast milk is in the surrogate community. Mm-hmm. For intended parents that maybe had a surrogate who couldn't produce enough or didn't want to, there are intended parents out there looking for it. Unfortunately for me, I did not find that, so I did dry up. But I did $1 per week, so it was $275 a week for my time and the milk and everything. But it is very big to do $1 per ounce in the surrogate community, and I didn't realize how big it was because I felt like I would have been selfish to do that. I was a very big oversupplier. I sent them over 2,000 ounces, so that's $2,000. But it is the norm. It is, and milk banks pay $1.10. So I would have went under $1 anyways for the intended parents. But I think with how well my supply is, and I know I can for sure get a stash up to a year for the baby. Next go around, if the parents do want milk, I will put in my contract that it is $1 per ounce, because your efforts and the pain I was going through just to make sure I had the supply and everything, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Desiree, do you excuse me, was it so did you have it in your contract at all that it would be?
So I did have it in my contract, and I was supposed to so last minute she had switched to formula.
Okay.
So that's why it kind of threw me off at first. I was like, oh, okay. But, you want to do what's best for the parents because it's about them and their baby.
Of course. Yep. Yeah, I think either way are an option. So some people do it per ounce, some people do it per week. And I think it depends as a surrogate if you're choosing to do it, depending on your supply, right? Like I was not an overproducer in the way that Jasmine was. I was getting paid weekly for it, and that was working for me. I think it did end up being kind of close to $1 an ounce, but I can't honestly remember how much I was producing. But yeah, that either way. And we have advisors again on the team we have nurses on the team who can help you figure all of that out.
Yeah, Jordan is awesome. I love her.
So yes, you will have help, at least on our team, as well as your attorney can kind of help figure out, because they write a million of these contracts a day, right? Maybe that's a little
one that is found for you or you find specializes usually in surrogacy, so they know all about it already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to be respectful of everyone's time this evening. And I know we all have, as a surrogate, you have children of your own that are probably running around.
Yep, that's real life. Mine's trying to say hi to everyone.
If anybody has any last second questions before we jump off. But I again just want to thank you both. I think this was a particularly special one to see you both kind of after baby.
And we could relate a lot.
Yes, and especially because I feel like it was the live that really sent you both into labor. So
when you guys are full term and you're ready to go into labor, go live with Hannah.
Go live, and then we'll chat.
It's live or it's Hannah.
I think it's a personal touch that I've got.
Maybe it's your voice for the baby.
I think it's gotta be something. So we'll follow you both along on your second journeys, and we just can't wait to learn more about your stories. So thank you both so much, and everyone have a wonderful evening.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.
Bye.